Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to episode 2. So, for those tuning in, you've probably come through our introduction, and you may have even watched our first episode where Tom and I chat a little bit about Glocal. So now we're going to talk about a trend that Tribal's been spending a lot of time talking about over 2021. Some for obvious reasons, but I think others not so obvious reasons, which is that no matter what you're doing, whether you're selling holidays or jumpers or cars or kitchens, a lot of brands are looking at moving from more transactional experiences and interactions with their customers to trying to create much more experientially led interactions with their customers. And whether that be, the fact that historically your brand or your customer journey has been designed to be transactional, to push people from A to B, to buy a travel book or to buy a car. And the customer journey being designed to do that as efficiently as possible. This has sort of, in our opinion, sort of resulted in extremely functional websites and sort of very rigid, estates designed with the sole purpose of conversion in mind. And a lot of these have now become quite redundant. And we're seeing sort of brands wanting to really innovate in the touch points, really innovate in their comms and their messaging and their channel mixes. And as a result, we're seeing a lot of web replatforms, a lot of tech builds, a lot of customer journey redesigns. And I was really keen, Tom, to sort of get your point of view on this, because I can't think of many more businesses or sectors that have been more impacted by the last 18 to 24 months that has really kind of required you to innovate in this space. So tell me a bit about your point of view on this and kind of what your experience has been within Lone Planets around this.
I think the first thing that's really important to know is that a digital offering is never finished or static or fixed. It should always be evolving, and we should always be thinking about what comes next with it. With the Lonely Planet digital platform, I think the question's always been, how do you take just this huge wealth of potential experiences with regard to our content and present it in a way online that is as logical and consumable as it would be in a printed format. Recently, I think we've actually taken a slightly different take on that, and that's to kind of abandon this idea of okay, let's really give people a vast amount of information online, and let's curate that a little bit more thoughtfully. Let's make sure the information that we have is designed from a digital first perspective, and that it's presented in a way that is very enjoyable to consume and gives you things that you would need to plan a trip, but also guides you to experiences that maybe you can't find online or you didn't know about online. That's an ongoing process, really. We do think that people have a need to have their needs met at all parts of the travel journey, and we see that we can do that with different products at different times. The step that we've taken at the moment with our site is to present something which takes this initial notion of, okay, I think I want to go somewhere. Maybe I know where I want to go. Maybe I have sort of 4 or 5 different destinations in mind, and presenting people with beautiful images, thoughtfully curated, introductory content, and then starting to guide them onto this trip. So the idea that what you're doing is inevitably driving at some kind of transaction, I don't think we really fully know the answer to that at the moment, based on where we're going on our digital journey. There are going to be relevant points in different people's journeys where you want to serve them up different things, but that's quite a complicated thing to understand. At the moment, I think we just wanted to present something which we're really proud of, about how, which just demonstrates the joy of travel, the joy of getting out there again, and maybe some surprising takes on destinations that people either knew about, hadn't considered, or are thinking about for the first time. So it's quite an interesting one, because clearly there has to be some kind of transactional basis to what you're doing, but we found it a very liberating experience, actually, to just strip it back, and think about, okay, how are we presenting something that we would want to use to plan a trip, and then go out from there. Okay, now we feel like we're getting towards that point. Who are the audiences that we think are most relevant for this? What are the experiences that we might be guiding them to? Moving on from there. So it's ongoing. It doesn't stop.
And did you see at all a sort of shift in sort of how people were wanting to sort of access your products and services as obviously everything changed last year? Were people buying more books through Amazon, or were they wanting to access more digital sort of products? Did anything come out to sort of show you that change in appetite, or?
There was certainly a change in the type of products that people were consuming when they couldn't travel. We saw a lot of interest in like coffee table books, or the sort of inspirational titles that would be show that people are still really keen on traveling, but maybe they're not able to get out there at that precise point in time. And then the other thing that we saw was that as soon as the destination did open up to travellers from a certain country, you could see the interest both online and in print. Iceland being a great example. As soon as people could go to there again, and that has been our top destination for a number of years. As soon as that was opened up again, we saw that people really just wanted to know more about it and find out how it's changed. And I think the other thing, and this is understandable, people wanted to be clear that the information they were seeing was up to date, that it was researched post-pandemic, and that were that was much higher up the list of concerns that people had than maybe people would have had about the primacy of information in the past. I think that came at quite a timely point anyway, and what it really showed is that while people do have this enthusiasm for getting out there, they're also aware that the world's a little bit of a different place than it has been, and they're wanting to make sure that they get access to the right sort of guidance, the right sort of information, and we're quite happy about that. That's the sort of challenge that we really like. We're thinking about the contributors that that we have who can best meet that kind of challenge. So yeah, there's a lot to grapple with at the moment, and it's an exciting time.
Definitely. Well, and hopefully we can all get back to not just reading about these destinations, but getting back there more frequently over 2022 and beyond. I mentioned to you when we were talking about this episode that you mentioned a road trip of Britain. I did go and purchase it, by the way, and I purchased another copy as a Christmas present for mother-in-law. So
that's great.
So more of that. Absolutely, looking forward to getting onto some of those road trips. Well, thank you, Tom, and I hope you guys found that really interesting. The next episode we'll be talking about diversifying audiences. So we look forward to welcoming you there soon. Bye for now, though.